In the wrestling world, the people are represented by two separate but unequally important groups. The wrestlers and bookers, who literally do all the hard work, and the fans, who endlessly nitpick and overanalyze everything they do. These are their stories.
Hey! It's Warhorse, and you need to shut your mouth, open your eyes, and clean out your ears, because it's time to listen to the Raw and Order podcast. That's right, they're bringing you the best in all that meaty podcasty goodness in one, what is it, an hour? Two? Who cares? Who gives a shit? You need to listen to it right now, or else Warhorse is gonna, I don't know, roll your ass!
I am excited to prosecute some crimes. I'm also excited for the return of Botchalong, which I feel like is a necessity at this juncture. Thank you, Top Dollar. So I'm looking forward to this.
What's good? What's good? Nothing much. Can't complain. I hope you do realize, though, you are not on screen, Mr. Smarks.
Yeah, he is.
Just in case you...
Yeah, he is.
Not
but on Twitch, you're
on
not.
Twitch.
On Twitch, your face ain't there.
Yeah. Ladies,
wild
weird.
stuff.
Dum dum dum. Nope. Still see that lovely little blue or white avatar. Oh, snap. No. No bueno.
That is some weird wild stuff. I tell you what, weird stuff.
Yep, nope.
Also,
he
I do
don't dare.
apologize that in about 5 minutes, I have to check out real quick just to check this cheese in the smoker. We finally have cold enough weather without wind to smoke some cheese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very cheesy of you, but that sounds awesome and tasty.
Hey, thanks
And a lot of
Emperor
work.
for agreeing that he's not there.
He's not there.
His face is. We can see it on the EV Max too, bud. In the meantime, Raw and Order is part of the Tat Disco Podcast Network.
We don't say that.
I don't really fucking pay attention. Yeah, it's a website that's being updated. So. Yeah, smoked cheese. It's tough to keep lit, but... Oh, now there's a really big U. Or not you.
Hey.
Thanks, bud.
Yeah. Give it to me. No, that's a valid point. That's a valid point.
It's true.
Yeah, look at him go. The delay on top of that isn't actually that bad. It's probably like 3 seconds right now.
Whoop, whoop.
Yep. Whoop. Welcome to the world of Raw and Order WBU, where we constantly have EV Mux issues. It is. Is
he back?
Nope. No.
Yeah, because if we can't see you, we don't have the proof.
I mean, who do you think you are, John Cena? Jeez.
Well, maybe you'll be back later today.
Get on your green.
It's in the game.
EA Sports. It's in the game. Hashtag still not sponsored.
I packed my son's I like your little white box.
Mm.
We come back.
Well, it won't close because we're all things, so we could definitely do that. Oh, now it's just something white. Look at that. Whoop. Now I'm full screen. Hey, hey.
It's
That's
pretty much,
it's a valid point.
pretty
But
much
it's something
accurate.
white that moves.
Ooh, he's gonna leave and come.
All right. Oh, Jesus.
Growth.
Yeah. So, I mean, I feel like maybe within the new year, though, good sir, we probably should redo the botch along. I
think there's
feel like
enough-
that would be
as-
some fun,
as I
good
reviewed
time.
it, I realize there's enough botched suicide dives to do an episode on those alone. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, I'd be down with.
back here good.
We could maybe even do it YouTube exclusively.
Ambrosia can see her. We can see her. He's here.
Hey,
Well, yeah,
he
now
is
it's doing
here.
something else altogether. Because
Oh, no.
all I can see is the intro video playing.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, I always look at Twitch for our stream, so I'm kind of delayed while I'm talking to you guys, but I can hear what you're saying. So I know
Tough shit.
what's
You're
up.
fine. You're okay.
There we go. Okay. I think I got it figured out. Boom. Now I'm fixed. Okay.
There we go.
Weirdest fucking thing. Evie Mux, get on your fucking game.
Oh,
You hear that?
love that Adam Cole
You hear that?
shirt that you got at the Pro Crates.
Adam Page,
Cheese.
but Adam Cole would be a different one altogether. It would say
Oh,
Bay Bay,
snap,
baby.
yes.
It's Adam.
That's
Adam,
fair, yeah.
Adam Page. Cowboy
Fair?
shit.
No, it's correct. It's not just fair.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's correct. He's correct.
Be right back.
That is correct.
Cheese time.
Go smoke your
time.
cheese.
Cheese time.
Cheese
Evie Mux needs
time.
to get on their fucking game. I ain't playing.
I
around
know.
anymore.
I mean, I was gonna say, you know, if it was free or something, you know, you're not paying anything, so you get what you pay for. But
there
we're
are
paying
so
for
many
this
things
shit.
I like about Evie Mux, but man, if it continues to just work like this, I'm getting a weird echo too, and that's the weirdest thing.
Oh.
Let's do this. Audio. There. Let's see if noise cancellation helps.
Dun, dun, dun. Is it on my end? Do you still hear it? No.
I don't know. It only happens when I
speak?
talk loud. Yep, still hear it.
Okay.
And it still happens when I
Talking
have
so loud.
my...
Quit yelling at me. Quit yelling at me.
Anyways, while he's gone, let's talk smack about DA Fabe. Man.
I mean, that could be a whole show on its own. There's a lot to smack to talk about when it comes to DA Fabe. So, but yeah, I was at least. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what I really want to do is talk about something not wrestling related at all. Well, sort of, tangentially wrestling related. But I finally got to see Black Adam. Because it finally came on HBO Max, and so I didn't have to pay extra money for it.
That's fair. Yeah. And meh.
How is it that Black Adam was the least interesting character in that entire movie?
Right? The supporting actors kicked ass. The supporting actors made that film. Like, I hate Pierce Brosnan, but Pierce Brosnan fucking ruled in this film.
Yeah. I love Pierce Brosnan. He was awesome. I like Aldous Hodge. I'm a big fan of the Leverage TV show that he was on. Still sort of on. He kicked a lot of ass. Guy who played Atom Smasher was funny, and the what's his name? Red Cyclone was entertaining, right? There was all sorts of fun, and then fucking. I mean, the problem was The Rock. It's like he didn't actually even want to be there, which is funny because he's the only reason that movie even got made. He pushed for it. He fought for it. He produced it. He did everything, and then he delivered a performance that you would get from someone who, like, you've threatened, if you don't do this movie, we'll hold your contract hostage. It's fine.
Right. Well, and that I think was also, and I think he was into it. It's just I don't see him as a superhero, right? So
Well,
I think
that's
that
the
was
thing is,
just genuinely
he
the
wasn't-
problem.
He wasn't a superhero. He's an anti-hero.
Whatever.
Heroes don't
Anti-hero,
kill.
superhero.
I do.
He wasn't a
But no.
person that I would see wear a cape. Damn it, or wear a suit.
Hey, good thing he didn't wear a cape for most of it then.
No, that's it.
Just
I had to roll a couple cheeses.
No.
It could have been a good movie. The plot was fine. The action scenes were decent enough, but fuck, just look like you want to be there, Rock.
Yeah, and I think he added two. It was a mix between. It was a weird mix between serious and comedic that didn't really go well with the Black Adam character. I also feel like so it just wasn't a role for him.
That's a problem that all superhero movies run into right now because Marvel came along and did comedy superhero movies so
That
well
Ant-Man.
that
Way to
every
pull
other superhero movie comes along and is like, oh, we need to add comedy to our movie.
For sure.
But no, the thing is, fucking Black Adam shouldn't have been the main character of a movie. He's an anti-hero at best. He's a villain, right? He should have been the main villain of Shazam 2. But apparently, The Rock wasn't going to do that. Nope. I want to be the hero of my own movie.
Doesn't
I don't
he
want to fight
eventually
Shazam.
have to be the villain of Shazam?
Well, storyline wise, that's the whole thing. But no, I mean they set him up in this thing that reports have it that The Rock was just like, "Hey, I don't want to fight Shazam. I want to fight Superman. So I don't want to be the eventual bad guy for a Shazam movie. I want to be an eventual bad guy for a Superman movie."
Yeah, well, he'll kick the crap. He's magic. He'll kick the crap out of Superman.
Superman's beaten Black Adam multiple times because Black Adam's got a couple weaknesses. The biggest one is when he says his name, he stops having powers, and then all you have to do is stop him from saying his name again. Now, Shazam and Black Adam give Superman a hell of a run for the money, right?
Yeah.
But in the end, they're mere mortals who turn into supervillains or superheroes rather than a full-time fucking alien who's nigh invulnerable. And also...
And doesn't really matter anyways because we ain't going to see any of it.
Yeah, we're
James
not.
Gunn decided to nix it all.
Yeah. Which I think,
Like, no, Rock, take your universe and shove it. We're doing a whole new different thing, which is also very unfortunate. Now Superman, what's his name? Cable
Henry
won't
Cavill.
be,
Yeah,
Cavill won't be part of it.
I'm mourning that. I think it's the wrong move. I think the solution to solving the DCEU problem was a Flashpoint reboot. Keep the ones that were working, reboot the ones that were not, and kind of go from there. You know, in the end, DC had a multiverse long before Marvel even thought of a multiverse.
Yeah,
And so you just lean into
and
that.
allowing yourself a reboot like that with Flashpoint is actually already written.
Yes. Literally.
Including, you can change the Flash.
Yeah.
The Flash does not have to be the same character, which, by the way, kind of going to be an important piece to the puzzle.
You kind of have to change the Flash. That's the thing. And I'm sad for Gal Gadot because, wow, Wonder Woman 1984 was not great.
Wonder Woman was
She
fantastic.
is fine. She's fire. She's fine.
Well,
Yeah,
and quite frankly, Jason Momoa.
yeah.
I mean, dude played a hell of a... And I thought I'd hate it, but I liked him as Aquaman.
Heck, fucking Ben Affleck as Batman was,
Not the worst.
yeah, perfectly fine. You know, he plays a Batman at a time where Batman's not
He's like the older age. I'm really successful.
Well, and more
Batman.
specifically, the storyline that they played with him in Batman v Superman was that the attack by the Kryptonians broke him. And for a while, he was not acting like Batman anymore. He was more vicious, more, destructive. And that the events of that movie and then Justice League turned him around and brought him back to being Batman. So, I think they had the solution right in front of them. I think bringing in James Gunn. The biggest question, though, I have is, if you're bringing in James Gunn and you're rebooting the whole thing, then are you canceling season 2 of Peacemaker?
No, because I think it's already done.
He's
Realistically,
directly tied to...
are you rebooting the original? I mean, does that mean we're getting a new
Well, no,
Man of
I
Steel,
think
i.e.
'cause
Superman Begins, a new Batman Begins?
Peacemaker
Batman
was
Begins
by
the
James
series.
Gunn, though.
It was,
The
but it
series
was
was by
in
James
the
Gunn.
DCEU. It was based off of the Suicide Squad movie, which was in the DCEU with, canonically, Henry Cavill's Superman, Ben Affleck's
That's
Batman,
true.
Ezra Miller's The Flash. All of them were in the same thing. So if he's rebooting that universe, then canonically speaking, Peacemaker should be rebooted as well.
Maybe we can get some decent reboot to the Batman movies, though, because Batman in this
Yeah.
DCEU wasn't a great set.
Yeah, even the Robert Pattinson did okay there, but
Well,
Well, that's not part of this DCEU,
I wasn't-
though.
Reports
Oh,
have
that's
it that he's actually eyeing the Robert Pattinson Batman to be the Batman
point?
for the new DCEU.
oh, okay.
I thought Ben Affleck was just fine as the Batman.
Yeah, I didn't hate him.
And I thought that there was a lot they could do.
Not the worst. I didn't hate him.
I mean, seriously, he is going up
You're
against
right,
the
though.
likes.
You're right,
I
though.
mean, he's going up against the likes of a very, very, very good the Batman trilogy with shit.
Christian Bale.
Thank you. And the comedian
Michael Keaton.
also plays Vulture.
Oh, yeah, Michael Keaton. Yeah.
Michael Keaton. Thank you.
Well, and that's actually one of the things is apparently the DCEU as it was set up before was leading
prepared
to
to do a Flashpoint that had the Michael Keaton in it.
that had the mic, which is still supposedly
really?
supposed to come out. But Michael Keaton was going to be in it. It was supposed to be setting up for an eventual Batman Beyond movie.
Which Michael Keaton's about the right age to pull that off.
Which,
now.
Michael Keaton was going to play the elderly Bruce Wayne with a new, younger Batman.
And that would be that's set in the future of today, even.
But if you're rebooting the entire universe entirely, then that puts that all up in smoke, too.
Well, no, because if you can still hold on to the canon of that original 4. To really, you don't want to bring Val Kilmer into this.
Well, but my
Or
point
George
is,
Clooney.
that's all coming off the Flash movie. Bringing him back was all based on
Yeah.
the Flash movie. And if you're rebooting the DCEU, you're rebooting the Flash movie.
I think a Flashpoint's the way to do the reboot. I really do.
I think it should have been the way. I just don't have faith that they're going to do it. What I think they're going to do, I'm making the prediction now on a wrestling podcast about a DC comic movie. I think what's going to happen is we're going to get some lame duck movies come out this next year. We're going to get the Flashpoint movie. We're going to get what were the other ones that were going to come out? Was there another Aquaman about to come out?
Yeah, right. Wasn't that the one
You think
with
those are all
what's her
gonna go
face?
straight to HBO then?
Amber, the one with Amber Heard. That one still didn't come out, right? Or not with Amber
Yeah, I
Heard
don't think
anymore.
it's out. Shazam! Fury of the Gods, a Blue Beetle movie, Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom.
I mean, here's the deal. They
fuck
had
is
just
Blue Beetle?
introduced Martian Manhunter,
Oh.
Darkseid.
Yeah,
I mean, there were some serious characters that were already developed here that were ready to be developed. Darkseid's a reason for Flashpoint to happen if you don't have to follow exact canon, which is okay because we've mentioned this before. The EUs can be different than the comic books, or the CUs. Sorry, not EUs. CUs can be different than the comic books. So I don't give a shit. Like, Darkseid can be a reason that Flash decides to go back in the past.
Well,
and
no,
you just cut scenes of him running a couple times from the other movies, and
you give another reason for Flash to go into the past, because at the end of Zack Snyder's Justice League, he broke the rules to turn back time to save the universe. Then all you have to do is say, "Hey, he proved that he could do it. Now that he's got the bug, and he's just gonna go back." But Darkseid can
he
be
has to see
the
how
villain.
budget fucks it up. Yeah.
Yeah, Darkseid can be the villain in the future. So yeah, we have Shazam in March, The Flash in June, Blue Beetle in August, Aquaman in December.
Jesus.
And then the reboot.
And so, yeah, I think we're just going to have 4 movies come out this year that all are basically just throwaway movies, lame duck movies that aren't going to do anything. And they're going to perform poorly because
there's no
people
sense
aren't
to them.
invested.
I mean,
in the
I feel like
future of what they
Peacemaker's still gonna do good because Peacemaker season 2 is coming out next year.
As of right now, it's slated for sometime next year, but it hasn't been given a release date. It just says likely 2023.
Okay. Well, I don't think they're gonna just scrap that. That was a highly popular TV series, and John
It was a
Cena
highly
kicked ass
popular
in it. A
TV
lot of
series
people loved
under
it.
old Warner Brothers, and before Warner Brothers Discovery. And
This is true.
again, you cannot keep that active without acknowledging the old DCEU. It is canonically tied to the DCEU. Literally,
So are the other movies that are coming out.
yeah.
If they're
but
going to
that's my
plan on
point.
making a whole young thing,
The difference
just
is
saying, you can't ruin
all
it.
of the other movies are already done being filmed and in post-production. But as far as I can tell, Peacemaker is not done filming yet. I'm going to also point out that they already canceled the Batgirl movie that was finished. Right? And just deuced
that's
it.
valid.
There was originally a Zatanna movie planned that's been scrapped, a Justice League Dark movie that's been scrapped, a Gotham Knights TV series that may or may not happen, a Static Shock movie or TV show that may or may not happen, Hourman that may or may not happen, Green Lantern Corps that may or may not happen, Arkham TV / Gotham PD that may or may not happen. Wonder Woman 3 has been officially canceled. Man of Steel 2 has now been officially canceled. So you have these 4 movies that are going to come out and probably perform badly because there's no reason to be invested in the cinematic universe if there's no future to it. Like, even if it was still up in the air, there's reason to watch them. But if we know that it's done, then whatever. And here's the thing. My biggest problem is James Gunn tweeted out a photo. Excuse me. Photo last week teasing that he was looking into doing a Kingdom Come movie. Kingdom Come is like my favorite Justice League story of all time. DC story of all time. It features an older Superman and an older Batman and older Justice League just in general. They had the cast to do it, and they just fired them all.
According to James Gunn, though, Peacemaker season 2 is safe and sound. But I mean, obviously, the studios can still be like, "Well, we're still not going to have it."
He's
so
in charge. He's in charge of it. But my point is, he's being hypocritical if he's just canceling the other things and saying the DCEU is dead, but we're still going to do this. My point is, it makes no sense. This is just him playing favoritism now.
And again,
I like
the
this thing.
very best part about the Flashpoint saga is you can pick and choose. Mm-hmm. You can literally pick which movies you want to be canon.
Because here's the deal, right? If you're not a comic book nerd, right? Flashpoint goes like this: Flash goes back in time to save his mom. In doing that, fucks up the whole timeline. When he comes back to the regular time, just like Back to the Future, right? Comes back to the regular time, everything's different. He finds out he's no longer the Flash, no longer has any powers. Everything's different. There's no Superman. Well, there is. He was captured by the United States government as an infant and been kept in captivity under a false red sun to keep him weak his entire life. He's a scrawny little thing in a cage. Batman's
on my rage. Sorry.
Batman's totally different entirely. And by entirely different, he's actually Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne's father.
The Joker's very different.
Joker's very different. It's actually Martha Wayne because she was driven insane after watching Bruce get shot outside the movie theater instead of them getting shot. So she went insane.
Oh.
And,
Have they ever done this before? Like a movie about
like
this?
a movie? No. They've done an animated
This
version
sounds
of it.
fucking awesome.
You can find the
They have,
animated
okay.
version. So
That sounds awesome.
all sorts of other things. There's a war going on between the Atlanteans and the Amazonians, fighting all over this stuff. Flash has to find a way to go back and stop himself from stopping his mother's murder to try to put things right.
It's a butterfly effect movie.
But in the
Yeah,
end,
exactly.
when he comes back after putting things right, things are still different. They're just less different. Right? It's literally what DC did to reboot the universe in their comic books. Right?
What was the Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox?
That was
Apparently
this
that
one.
was a movie.
That was this one.
Oh.
It's the animated.
Oh, I know what I'm watching after the podcast.
I will point out this.
Your eyelids.
The DC's animated movie series.
No, not the greatest.
No, absolutely fire. Blows
Okay.
Marvel out of the water. Right. Now, I will point out specifically it blows anything Marvel did animated out of the water. And yes, I am including fucking X-Men 1989.
You bastard.
Their animated ones.
Fucking-
Now, there's not as much
Also love
continuity.
the Spider-Man series in the 90s.
Spider-Man series
not
was awesome
not
too.
Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends, but the actual
No,
Spider-Man.
no. The actual
Also,
Spider-Man series.
1989 Batman had one of the greatest intros of all time. In fact, we sample it all the time for current Batman movies.
Here's the deal. Without 1989 Batman, none of the Marvel Universe exists. Like, cinematic universe at all.
The Marvel Cinematic Universe?
No, because it set the blueprint for Marvel's launching of the cinematic universe down the road. If Batman 89 didn't exist and wasn't successful as it was, and launch one successful sequel and two less successful sequels, although I would argue, financially speaking, the sequels were successful, all of them. That's beside the point. That set the blueprint up that Marvel followed when launching the cinematic universe. And so if they hadn't been successful, because here's the deal, Marvel, as a comic books company, was
on the last
failing.
leg.
You know, they were on their last leg. That's why they sold off the rights to X-Men and Fantastic Four and Spider-Man and all of their major ones, Captain America, Punisher, all got sold off to other people, right? Other companies to make because they needed the cash influx. And then they took a small-time character at the time named Iron Man, and they followed a Batman blueprint, although they made it brighter and shinier.
I don't know. There was the Batman blueprint, but it was Marvel's cinematic universe was kicked off with Tobey Maguire.
No, because that's not Marvel. I mean, it's a Marvel movie, but it's
They
not
realized
Marvel.
how successful they could be. Yes, I get what you're saying.
Tobey Maguire wouldn't have happened if it hadn't been for the success of Batman. Because the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies came after Batman 1989, and they followed the Batman blueprint.
That's true. Tragic hero.
The tragic hero. And the only reason that Sony had the guts to do a Spider-Man movie is they looked over and they saw how successful the Batman movies were. Comic book movies were not considered a safe investment until Batman 1989 came along. Now, you could argue that Superman 1979 really started it off. But from a financial success standpoint, they really weren't all that huge of successes. It wasn't until 1989, Batman 1989, that studios said, whoa, this can actually make us a shit ton of money. Because they realized they could monetize it through action figures and toys. That didn't come along till Batman 1989. So,
It's almost like this was I thought I signed up for a wrestling podcast.
yeah. You didn't sign up for anything.
I just,
We just kind of grabbed a hold of you.
Kind of just roped you into it.
This is a good. This kid's a pretty good kid. Let's keep him around.
This is
keep him around.
a
Fair
2.5 long guest appearance is what it is. We invited you on to plug your own podcast one time and then kept you around.
We're like, let's keep this kid.
There
We
you
like
go.
him.
I'm a good guy. I have my moments. But
Anyways,
I mean, I
let's-
guess on that note, we should probably at least start it off with, speaking of cinematic universes, John Cena will be at the SmackDown on December 30th to face the Bloodline alongside Kevin Owens.
Speaking of superheroes,
Which, you know.
this is the Ultimo Dragon. Or if you're Tony Schiavone, the Ultimate Dragon.
I can't lie. I used to say the Ultimate Dragon until I realized later on. I'm like, oh, Ultimo.
That is one of the things from this month's Pro Wrestling Crates. This Hangman Page shirt, also one of them, as well as my newest autographs.
I don't know why you keep putting them away.
Well, I'm putting them away because I haven't figured out where I'm going to put them up on the wall back there yet. So I'm keeping them safe in the envelope. Because it's two. It is Scarlet and Karrion Kross. And I want to keep them safe until they get up there. So, but yeah, okay, let's talk wrestling. Let's talk This Week in Wrestling. No pay-per-view or anything like that for us to really talk about this time. So that's
Right.
good. We can actually focus more on the televised stuffs. WWE for me was kind of a meh all week. There were a few things here and there. We finally got the in-arena appearance of Uncle Howdy for the first time.
Yep.
And importantly, at the same time as Bray Wyatt was out in the ring, so it was not Bray Wyatt as Uncle Howdy.
It was still very weird. I mean, I
So.
get it. It's Bray, but it was still a very weird B horror segment. You know what I mean? Like, it was a bit... But, you know, I guess I was like, okay, fine. But went a bit
Well,
too long. But it was cool.
I don't like the references to him being supernatural when he's getting his ass handed to him all the time.
Well, I think he's
Well,
not
I
the
don't think
supernatural
he's...
one now.
Yeah, he's not the supernatural one. He's just psychotic and crazy. But he's not the supernatural one.
I mean, are you really crazy if now we've seen the voices in his head be alive?
Well, that's a valid point, but I think it alluded to what we said a few months back, where I think the Wyatt Six is going to be 5 of his different personalities played by people. So in reality, I think they're still going to tell the story that it's still him, it's still his personalities, but they're just played by other people, which is kind of a mindfuck. But I think that's what they're going with.
So do you see, because he was attacked by LA Knight, and that's obviously the feud, did you notice the little pig statement to LA Knight? Does that make him Huskus the pig?
It might. Here's the deal: is I mean, in the end, this might be a situation where he's slowly recruiting the Wyatt Six by defeating the people as they come.
Beaten by them.
You know, like more specifically, we're gonna have a match between LA Knight and Uncle Howdy, and Uncle Howdy's gonna win, and then LA Knight's gonna start appearing as Huskus the pig. I don't know if that's gonna happen. That's just a possibility I thought about. So
We also have Alexa in that
Yep.
same thread,
I was going to refer to that.
semi-threatening Bianca with a Sister Abigail.
Sister Abigail.
Was it Bianca or was it? It was
Bianca. She was
threatening.
shaking hands.
It was threatening
Shook hands.
Bianca,
Yeah, it threatened Bianca.
but it
And
was attempting to do it on Bailey.
No, on Bianca. She didn't actually do it.
She did it on Bianca.
Yeah.
Was it
She
on
put
Bianca? I
Well,
could've
she didn't do it
Yeah. She didn't actually do it.
because it was
to
after
anybody.
the match.
Yeah,
She
when they
didn't
were
do it to
shaking
anybody.
hands.
It was
Anyways.
after the match.
That's right. Yeah, it was after the match. They went to share a hug, and then the moth logo flashed, and then
And that's when she did it, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
she attempted to. Anyways, doesn't matter. I don't like that. I don't like that they're keeping Alexa in this. I've said it before. I want Alexa to go back to Mean Girl. That's what she does best. I want her to stay far away from this storyline.
Well, and now they have three. By doing that, that's three potential people for that role. For three potential females for the Bray Wyatt group. Between Liv Morgan, there was hints at it of Nikki Cross.
Well, the Nikki Cross thing is just her going back to the crazy. I don't think they're going to hint too much at that. I think, if anything, it's going to be Liv Morgan for a couple reasons. Number one, the biggest one, I think, being the fact that Liv Morgan literally lives with Bray Wyatt's brother,
Yeah.
full time. She's part of the family. Also, all of the Bray Wyatt stuff has been happening recently on SmackDown. All of it. Except for the Alexa Bliss hints, everything else has happened on SmackDown. So I think whoever it's going to be is going to be a SmackDown character,
That's fair.
which is why I think Liv fits that better. Also, Liv is heavily invested in horror, the horror genre, as an actual person. So much so that, like, her dream was to appear in a Chucky movie, and she got to appear in the Chucky TV show this last season, and was so happy about it. Got to be killed by Chucky.
Nice.
Epic. Anyway. Other
but yeah.
things that happened.
Okay. We already mentioned Alexa Bliss threatening the thing, but she also did pin Bailey to become the number one contender for Bianca Belair's title.
Yeah.
Seth Rollins defeated Bobby Lashley to become the number one contender for the U.S. Championship,
And Bobby Lashley got fired and then unfired.
and then
on social
unfired.
really quickly.
So it makes me wonder, right? Was it always storyline that Adam Pearce was going to unfire him later? Or was it something where Adam Pearce made a misstatement and they realized that the cameras caught
Supposed to
up
be,
him saying,
you're suspended, and
Yeah.
it said you're fired.
yeah, and so then they had to make a fix. It doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
No.
But I just kind of wonder if that was just oh shit, we got to come up with a storyline.
Well, I mean, Bobby Lashley's reaction was pretty epic then, because if it was a misstatement, that would make sense. Because then he'd be like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" So I unless Lashley just has great acting skills and really approved, but I think it was a misstatement by Pierce.
Well,
'Cause-
he warned Lashley that there would be consequences. So Lashley would already have been prepared to be like, respond with, "What?" if he said, "You're suspended."
Yeah.
Or whatever. But anyways, it doesn't matter one way. The story goes off the same way either way. I just thought the social media unfiring was anticlimactic.
Connected with the news. Well, yeah, I think you wait a week for that. And you write a story for the unfiring. Connected with that is Matt Riddle went to rehab this week.
Yes.
And so we wish him a quick and speedy recovery and a proper recovery.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they had to force him to go to rehab. He would not go willingly himself, but that is the case often. So, AJ Styles defeated Chad Gable after Chad Gable talked smack about him backstage. Did anyone really think Chad Gable had a chance at beating AJ Styles this week.
I mean,
No, but it was a great
Rock
match.
versus Hurricane moment, sure.
But Judgment Day defeated the Street Profits and Akira Tozawa. That's a really weird team up, but I guess whatever.
With, yet again, some interference from Rhea Ripley.
Rhea?
Mommy.
We ought to play that fucking game tonight. You'll have a chance to win, but I can't remember anybody's fucking name.
Just call her Mommy.
Mommy.
Hold on a second, I got to sneeze.
Why does Dominic wear the shirt "I'm your mom"? Though, I never got that. Like, I get it's a playoff. I'm your pappy, but it says "I'm your mommy."
Well, it's a Rhea Ripley shirt that he's supporting his mommy.
Okay, fine.
Io Sky
Same.
defeated Candice LeRae. I really wish they'd give Candice LeRae a couple wins, but whatever.
Yeah, there was a lot of schmoz to that, though.
Yeah. It seems to me like it's become fairly clear that Candice LeRae was only brought in to keep Johnny Gargano happy. You know what I mean? Like, or part of the pitch to bringing Johnny Gargano back. Hey, listen, you come back, we'll bring your wife back. And
Johnny Gargano.
yeah, Mr. Gargano. Solo Sikoa defeated Elias because, of course, he would.
Well, Elias had a really good segment there, though. That homage to
Well, yeah. Well, they also definitely played into the whole Elias Ezekiel storyline. So at least they didn't completely write that storyline off.
Yeah.
And then Rhea Ripley defeated Asuka. This might be one of my favorite things of the week because it's Asuka hinting more and more that she's going to go back to the vicious, no longer goofball Asuka.
Yeah, she lacks the face paint.
Yeah, she didn't have the face paint. She wasn't all smiley and dancy when she came out to the ring. She came out
changed the color of the mist.
and lost and looked dejected afterwards. And so I think that all points. She also on social media has done a lot of
Side note,
hinting that she might be going back.
since
to,
we're
like,
talking about the
Thomas type.
women's division right here, did you guys read the article that there's apparently somebody who is not wanting to wrestle in WWE because their contract is less valuable than Becky Lynch's, and yet we don't know who that is?
Well, I don't know if the reports of the one I'm thinking of, we knew 100% who it was. It was Sasha Banks. Is that
That's who
Sasha
it
Banks wanted to be paid the same amount of money as Becky Lynch.
Gotcha.
And she was told by WWE brass that they did not see her as a top 5 star for the next 5 years. And they see Becky Lynch as the
my
top
God.
5 star for the next 5 years.
Ah, boy. Top 5 female star or top 5 star?
It didn't specifically say, but in the end, it came down to, I'm sure it was female, but it doesn't
Becky at
specifically say.
points has carried the brand, the entire company, main roster for a year.
Well, yeah, but at the same point, I think Banks
Give Sasha a
could've.
broken nose from somebody and give her that storyline. the grit
Give her
girl
any storyline. Have her not lose in her first title defense every time.
No, I think there was at one point she actually still kept
At
it
one
for-
point. At one point. You spent 5 fucking years ruining her by having her win a title and then immediately lose it the first time she defends it. Right. One time having it change doesn't do anything. You have
Well,
her be
clearly New
a
Japan
dominant-
thinks that she's top 5 because if they're paying her
clearly they
more than
do.
$100,000 per appearance, that's saying
But
something.
reports have it that the deal for her release was actually struck back in late summer, and that no one was able to report on it. Like, I apologize for all the coughing, guys. I've got like sinus problems and it's
Coronavirus.
post-nasal dripping. I don't know. It might be. I haven't tested, so it's Schrodinger's Corona right now. Until I test, I both have and don't have coronavirus.
That was a very interesting analogy.
It was an analogy. Anyways, on SmackDown, which of course, excuse me, I didn't get to watch because Sling.
Sling TV. Yep.
I'm really about to drop Sling. I got to be honest with you. If there was something else that was even close to the price of Sling, I would do it in a heartbeat. Everything else is just a little bit more, and I have to justify it. But because Sling this last 2 weeks has decided to just stop recording the programs that I told it to record. It's like, nah.
I will make a note that the next day you can watch SmackDown. So you can watch SmackDown just yesterday.
On what?
On Peacock.
On Peacock?
Isn't one day on Peacock?
No, I thought it was longer than that.
Oh, maybe.
I
Yeah, I don't think it's
I
the
might be
day
wrong.
after. I
but
think it's
thought-
like 2 weeks after or something.
Yeah, that sucks. Never mind. I'm a jackass. What can I say?
I mean, that's facts.
We'll find out.
But we love you. You're our jackass.
We'll find out if I'm a jackass? No, dude. It's
No. We know you're a jackass. But I'm saying we still love you.
Let's see.
SmackDown. I'm guessing the WWE Network would be the same. Because obviously I don't have Peacock.
I don't know if they did the same thing.
Might
Let's see
be
here.
different.
This is one of the.
no big thing.
Okay, so what happened is they had a second day deal with Hulu. That meant the abridged version of it would go up on Hulu.
Okay, I was incorrect about what it was.
Currently, you have to wait 30 days after the show's broadcast to come up, at least according to this article. But that article was from earlier this year, so how long after SmackDown? Yep, 30 days.
That might be a
episodes.
Fox protection.
No, they had a deal with Hulu for the next day rebroadcast, second day broadcast. Because Hulu, you get it's an abridged version of it the next day.
As of right now, the last one I have is November 18th on my end. So
I can actually-
it's right around the 30-day mark, I guess.
Let's figure that out on the Peacock on here. On my phones.
Any of you guys watch Tribute to the Troops?
No.
Hater.
November 18th is the most recent one on Peacock
Yeah.
as well, which would, like you said, put it right at that 30 days because we're on December 18th today. So
My apologies.
yeah,
I was
but
incorrect.
again, in the end, my anger with Sling goes even deeper because it just stopped recording my shows this week. That's AEW, that's Raw, that's fucking anything, Doctor Who replays, anything I set up to auto record, just said, nah, you don't need that anymore. No warning, no notice, hey, do you still want to record this or whatever? Just like, nah. You don't get that anymore. And of course, I only find out when I go to watch something, and it's not recording.
Oh, Tribute to the Troops is only on Fox, huh?
I don't know. I didn't even look.
That's fair. Yeah, because they don't even have it on the network yet. Bastards.
Basically, I mean, nothing ever happens at Tribute to the Troops.
No, I know.
They have a couple little matches, and then it's mostly just talk.
Jesus. The hating. on the
Military
fucking Tribute to
industrial
the Troops.
complex propaganda is what it is.
Fuck.
Anyways, SmackDown.
Who
The big
touched you
news-
in the no-no square? Jesus.
the military-industrial complex. John Cena, that's the big news out of SmackDown, is he's going to be Kevin Owens' partner against the Bloodline at whatever the name of the next thing is.
Side note, breaking news, Eric Bischoff to WWE confirmed.
Oh, yeah?
What?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, it's the only guy who's going to bring back olds. John Cena's an old.
Oh, Vince McMahon brought back olds all the time.
Are you just saying that to protect Eric Bischoff, or
No, Eric Bischoff did it too.
this was an
Jeff
obvious
Jarrett did it
joke,
like
fuckhead?
crazy. But I'm just saying, it's not unheard of. We were talking last week about how Vince McMahon says he's wanting to come back. This might just be him doing it.
I hope not.
Bring back John Cena. That'll be good. S word. Here's the deal: is John Cena coming back
What,
for
a
this?
year and a half since he had a match?
Yeah. In fact, if he didn't wrestle by the end of this year,
Which
which
is one
right
day
now,
before the end of the year.
he would have gone. This would have been the first year since his debut that he did not wrestle a single match. So, if he wrestles on the December 30th SmackDown, then he's
He will
gonna
keep up
barely
his
squeak
streak.
in. Reports have it that Kevin Owens was supposed to be at SmackDown, but had a travel nightmare and couldn't make it. And that there's no heat on Kevin Owens for it. This is not like Kevin Owens overslept and missed his flight or something like that. This is a whole bunch of, we don't know the details of it, but we know that it was beyond his control. And so they had to rewrite the segment. I don't know if I believe that they had John Cena announcement scheduled for this. I think that was pre-taped to be the surprise announcement next week. And
Next
that they had
week's-
to.
Oh no, next week is not.
Mm-hmm.
The 30th.
No, it's the 30th SmackDown, December 30th. So
Yeah. So I think they had intended to make the announcement next week, so that then it drew, it was like the week before, a lot of buzz for it. But they had to switch things around because Kevin Owens couldn't be there. That's my speculation. I don't know. Damage Control defeated Liv Morgan and Tegan Nox.
Wah wah wah.
I would rather Tegan Nox and Dakota Kai team up and be on the same side, but that's beside the point. Team Kick forever.
Yeah, but that died several years ago at War Games.
It did, and I don't care. I'm Team Kick forever. They continued the storyline with the person attacking earlier from the thing, and they revealed that it was Xia Li. So this is what, her third character on the main roster in a year.
She's so entertaining, and I don't understand
Why they couldn't
can't
just
figure
let her be
something out.
her, I don't know. Gunther defeated Ricochet.
In a great match, but honestly, they should have just give it to Ricochet. Like, he was doing so good. The crowd was behind him. Ricochet deserves to get something, for fuck's sakes, because Ricochet deserves more. But, yeah, good match.
And then, not finally, there's one other thing that happened, but I'm skipping that. Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler attacked Raquel Rodriguez backstage to weaken her up before her number one contenders match next week. And then Hit Row defeated the Viking Raiders and Legado del Fantasma.
I mean, you got to be pretty good to rope botch, and still take the W. That's a pretty big skill set right there.
Skill set.
This is why we're bringing back botch along.
The number of people who fell down with no contact at all.
I mean, that's great skill set there. That's a great acting for you guys. Great acting for you. Even Cole was like, "Oh my god!" But Graves actually
He's like,
said so.
well, that's probably why you don't see him do that very often.
Yeah, that's it exactly.
Just a beautiful fuck up, man.
Let's see if I can. I wonder if someone uploaded.
And on
it.
another note as well, Michael Cole did point out that it was actually Pat McAfee who excited him for wrestling again.
He reinvigorated Michael Cole to be excited for wrestling again. So look at that. Obviously, Pat McAfee's always super excited and super energetic and super ADD and is all over the place and all that. So it's pretty awesome to see that, people still have that impact on someone who's been such a legend in the business. Michael Cole's been there for, 30 years already? And Pat McAfee can bring that out of him. I also think it was Vince McMahon getting fired that probably helped out with that too.
Yeah.
But I
Problem
would
is, he's just
certainly
not going to
give.
say that out loud. Because while Vince McMahon may not be in charge anymore, he's still the number one shareholder and still kind of.
But I don't want to totally shit on Pat McAfee because I can imagine that guy could be super motivating. So.
And stuff.
But so yeah, that was the SmackDown.
I'm still hitting this with a Bischoff crime.
Hey, you're welcome to.
I was gonna go all the way to Vince Russo because, and then what? Oh, John Cena's gonna come back, and then what?
No, that's it. It's a one-time thing.
Yeah, that's a Vince Russo thing. I get
It's
it.
for your help,
Yeah.
bud.
Yeah. Here, watch.
I don't know why you're that pissed
This
by
is
it, though.
this is
I
the
mean, they
joke,
always do
and
that.
this is you going.
Yeah. Sounds about right.
Legit.
Okay. Moving on, we have AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, which I thought was a pretty decent show, all in all. The best of 7 series for the Elite versus Death Triangle. This was what, number
4.
5?
5.
Five.
Yeah.
And, like we said, we knew they were going to get to all 7, right? You're not going to announce a best of 7 without doing all 7. It's just, how do they get there? Do they set up someone with a streak at the beginning, which they looked like they were doing, and then the other people have to... And now we know what it's going to be now. They've got 2 more matches, and it's going to be the Elite have to win both of them to win. You know what I mean? If they drop either of these next 2, they'll lose. And so that's going to be the way they pitch it. They're like, there's a sudden death now.
Can't hold anything back now, Brent. I know. Sorry, Waterboy reference.
Next week's match will be a no disqualification match, so,
That's fun. Why are we just completely glancing by the biggest part of Dynamite?
We haven't gotten to that part yet. We're getting to it. I want to get a glance part. Action Andretti is the highlight of Dynamite.
Yes, he is.
But that wasn't
Sure.
until
Yeah.
later.
You're gonna wait, okay?
Well, it wasn't until later.
No, it's fine. Take your time.
He's going in chronological order, damn you.
Jeff Jericho and company attacked the Acclaim. And
Jeff
then there was
Jericho.
Jeff
interesting.
Jericho.
Jeff Jericho.
Jeff Jarrett. Excuse me. Jeff Jarrett. See, you got me all talking
Jeff
about Jericho too early. It fucked my brain up. Jeff Jarrett and company attacked the Acclaim. Jungle Boy Jack Perry had his match against Brian Cage.
Jungle Boy won it and called out fucking Big Bill. Which, of course, for those of you who are trying to wonder who the fuck Big Bill is, that is W. Morrissey.
Yeah. Now, in
why
fairness,
change the name to Big Bill? I don't know, but they did it.
I don't know either. In fairness, the W in W Morrissey stands for William. right?
No, I get it.
So I get it, but I agree. It's kind of
Not
dumb.
creative and stupid.
Because he was Big
Yep.
Cass and now he's Big Bill. I get it, but I also get it. W. Morrissey is actually not that great of a name.
It's not.
It's hard to say.
If I'm gonna compare W. Morrissey to Big Bill, though, I'm still gonna pick W. Morrissey.
yeah.
I'm sorry, when people say Big Bill, I immediately think of Harold and Kumar Escape Guantanamo Bay. And I know the guy's name was Bob.
Yeah.
Big Bob. Y'all ready for your cock meat sandwich?
That's my deal. I'm not saying Big Bill is a good name. I think it's slightly better than W. Morrissey, but I think there's better names for it.
I feel like Morrissey's a name where you can legitimately go the WWE route.
And just drop it and call him Morrissey.
Yeah.
I suspect there's a reason that has nothing to do with professional wrestling, but has a
You're
connection
talking
to
about the
professional
band?
wrestling. There's a band and specifically a singer named Morrissey, who has trademarked the name Morrissey. And so they probably have to do, for trademark reasons. In fact, frankly, it might be why they changed it. I don't know, or no behind-the-scene knowledge anyways, but it wouldn't surprise me if that's why they had to change it, that Tony Khan was like, listen, we're getting news that W. Morrissey is too close to Morrissey's trademark, and we have to change it somehow. Because I agree, just calling him Morrissey
It's one of the few times where I think that actually makes sense.
is fine. It's better. Big Bill is just dumb, but I really think it was just one of those things where they were like, fuck, we have to do something. He was Big Cass, so let's call him Big Bill. I would have called him Big Mo. From Mosi.
And he's gonna mow you down.
Big.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
This isn't Big Show we're talking about here.
That's why I said you should have given him Big Mo and then started to have Paul White be in his corner.
His coach.
His coach.
Big Show and Big Mo.
Yeah, it's the Big Mo.
The Mo Show.
Show Mo.
Show.
He's the Mo. I gotta be honest, I'm a little sad, not sad, a little confused with their booking of Brian Cage. They had him and his partners win the 6-man tag championships at Ring of Honor, and then they have him come out, and it was a fine match and whatever.
Singles match, bud.
Yeah, but I really think that when you've got a guy of Brian Cage's size and abilities, that you kind of need to keep him as a monster.
Well, and I thought Tony Khan said there was not going to be any ROH guys
There
on
was going to
AEW.
be less ROH, and more specifically, less Ring of Honor segments.
Titles. Okay.
And so the important thing of this wasn't a Ring of Honor match. This was an AEW match.
Right.
Because it wasn't for a Ring of Honor championship or anything like that. And so, man, it was a mad match all in all. Like, whatever. House of Black versus The Factory was done exactly the way it should have been done. I'm a big fan of the way they did it. House of Black did the blackout, came out in the silhouettes, whatever. Walked down to the ring, blackout. Then they're in the ring, and then the Factory's all there, looking tough. Nick Camarado walks up to Julia Hart, looking like he's gonna intimidate her, and she just black mists him right in the face. And then
I am excited if he does end up joining the House of Black.
That would be
because
fun.
I think he would fit in perfectly there. Lord knows he's worth a lot more than what he's doing with the Factory. So I think maybe putting him in the House of Black would be pretty fun. So really excited for Nick Camarado if that happens, and I hope to God, because
whether it does
the
or
dude
not,
looks
the
amazing.
biggest thing is just having them come out because she splits the Black Mist, and then Brody King and Buddy Matthews just start beating the tar out of other members of the Factory. And Malachi Black just stands there staring at.
Quite frankly,
QT
sits
Marshall.
there.
Yeah, sits there. But just staring at QT Marshall, waiting for it's time for him to destroy QT Marshall, which he then does. And then backstage, you had Sky Blue interrupting Britt Baker and challenged her to Rampage. I like Sky Blue, so, great there.
Any more guesses on who you think? Because they did also do a little promo segment on Saraya's partner.
I'm still saying Sasha Banks. The timing all lines up to Sasha Banks shows up at Wrestle Kingdom, and then a few days later is here in America at their show on the East Coast, which is importantly, not the East Coast, the West Coast, which is importantly the shortest distance to fly to get to America from Japan. So, I'm thinking, all of it lines up. The reason they can't announce it officially yet is because their no compete is still on until the end of the year. So all they can do is tease it.
I mean, couldn't they announce it though? Technically, if it's after, if it's for the 11th of January.
The whole thing with the no compete is you cannot promote for one of the competitions, and so by announcing it, that's considered promoting.
Mercedes Vernado.
That's considered promoting. And you're not allowed to do that because you're still technically during that 90 days. That's the thing is to remember. Technically, during that 90 days, you're still employed by the other company. Even if she got her release from WWE, she is still a WWE employee until the end of the 90 days. So as a WWE employee, she cannot announce an appearance at a rival promotion during that 90-day no-compete. And I think that's why New Japan hasn't made an announcement of anything. She's going to be a surprise show-up because her no-compete doesn't end until the beginning of the year, end of this year, somewhere around there. And she'll be a surprise at Wrestle Kingdom, and that's why I think it's her. It could, importantly, be Naomi. The timelines could be very similar for Naomi getting her release. Reports have it that Naomi still wants to go back to WWE because she's married to an Uso and wants to stay local to them. But
Right.
It could be her. I could see that. But it just in the grand scheme of things, the only reason you wouldn't announce who it is right now is if you were not legally allowed to. And to me, that says Sasha Banks. I also don't see anyone else that would be big enough to make an impact at this point. You know what I mean? Like, who else could it be? Who else is a free agent that they could bring in?
I mean, I don't know. Maybe they have good working relationships with a lot of people, though. So it could just easily be, Kate. It could be someone they already have employed. It could be the MMA fighter there, Kate. What is it? Kat Van Zandt.
Paige Van Zandt.
She could
it could be,
Paige Van Zandt.
But they wouldn't be promoting it as a mystery opponent for as long as they do if it was someone they already have employed.
But you often do that if you're trying to put somebody big time over as well. So a Paige Van Zandt, a Deonna Purrazzo, Jordan Grace.
So Deonna
Chelsea
Purrazzo
Green.
and Jordan Grace are on exclusive Impact Wrestling contracts. I'm not saying that they couldn't work out a deal for them, but Impact Wrestling would want the promotion of it. Impact Wrestling would want the eyes on their product from 4 weeks
That's your belief,
of them saying
pleasant surprise.
Impact Wrestling star Jordan Grace is going to be appearing. I also think Jordan Grace will likely not be appearing, based purely on the fact that her husband has a bad current relationship with AEW. And I think that's going to negatively impact her ever coming over.
Chuck E. Cheese. Not Chuck E. Cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese? I had Chuck E. Cheese for the first time ever yesterday. It was expensive and not worth it.
It was expensive and not worth it. That sounds about right.
Yeah. I mean, the pizza was fine. Surprisingly enough, the pizza was actually pretty decent. I didn't expect it to be good pizza at Chuck E. Cheese. But all told, I
No,
dropped
that's fair.
$70 for just me and my daughter to go to Chuck E. Cheese.
That's wild. That's a lot. Jesus.
$70 wouldn't. Anyways, again, I do not think it would be anyone from Impact Wrestling, because Impact Wrestling would want the cross promo out of it. Impact Wrestling would want to be able to promo on their thing. Our best, Deonna Purrazzo, goes against AEW's best. You know what I mean? Our best, Deonna Purrazzo, gets to team up with legend Saraya against Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter at this thing, right? That's the only reason that the cross promos work, is because both sides get to promote it. And if you're not allowing both sides to promote, then why even do it? But sure, it could be them. I don't see any reason, if it was anyone currently signed to AEW, I don't see any reason to not promote it at that point now either. To go an entire month of teasing. Who's it going to be?
No, I see what you mean, but also Tony Khan is a crazy PR guy. You know what I mean?
Tony Khan is a crazy PR guy who knows that the best way to build up a surprise is months of teasing it, and he also knows that if you tease it for a month and then don't deliver, it blows up in your face.
But people are still going to end up watching it regardless. So at the end of the day, you still going to get viewers on it thinking.
It gets viewers on it for that one thing, but again, it blows up in your face. You drop viewers the next week. If you don't deliver on what you build up, it's a short-term gain and a long-term loss. And he needs to build long-term gains. That's his whole thing. Bringing in someone like Sasha Banks is not about doing a one-time pop. It's about getting ratings on that week, and then the following week, and then the following week, and then the following week, right?
No, for sure.
Doing a thing, like, here's the deal. Bringing in John Cena for one appearance, sure, we'll get more ratings for that week's SmackDown, right? More people will watch that SmackDown than others because John Cena's back. But what's going to happen to the ratings the following week? They're going to drop back down to normal levels.
It's going to go back to its regular.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's not going to have a long-term effect. It's a one-time thing. And I don't think Tony Khan's dumb enough to do that. That's dumb. WWE, we've made fun of WWE for years for doing that. And it's part of why WWE's ratings now are a fraction of what they were 5 years ago. Because we got tired of the one-off things.
Did we come to consensus who we think it is?
No, we kept on talking. I still think it's Sasha Banks. I think there's no way they promote it for an entire month as a surprise if it's not someone as big as Sasha Banks. And that's the deal. Again, there's no reason they do it for a month if there's not a reason they cannot announce it now. If it was Deonna Purrazzo or Taya Valkyrie or fucking Jordan Grace or any of the current...
I'm going to give you another name then that can't be announced for a little while.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
If Mandy Rose is on an NXT contract, she's available at that point.
She would be available at that point.
If she's on an NXT
but they had announced this.
But they announced this long before Mandy Rose was
Okay. The other person
released. So.
is Mickie James, as she and her husband have just left NWA, and that was around that same time.
The thing is, I'm not entirely sure she left NWA because she was also involved with Impact. So I'm not saying you're wrong there. This is a definite thing. I start typing in Mickie James, and I'm in Nebraska, so you can guess what the first thing comes up for a Nebraska fan right now.
Somebody who is fired.
Maybe you shouldn't try to strangle your wife. Just a thought.
Oh, Jesus.
Allegedly.
Yeah,
There you go.
Not confirmed yet. Just like Sam Bankman-Fried is allegedly a thief right now, who stole billions of dollars from people.
You know who is a thief? The person who stole Snoop Dogg's WWE Golden Belt. Y'all hear about that?
Yeah.
He's apparently asking his Twitter followers to.
See, I think Mickey James is still under contract with Impact Wrestling. One person we know it probably isn't is Kylie Ray.
Right. Yeah.
Although I don't think there was ever a chance it was going to be Kylie Ray. I think she sort of burned a bridge at AEW.
Perhaps.
But, and again, also important note: she is not officially signed to WWE. She had a tryout match that was recorded for main event, but they often do that with their tryouts. So we'll see if she ends up getting. I mean, I'm hoping the best for her. I still don't think WWE is the place for her to go for recovery because they haven't done particularly great with Usos, and look at what just happened with Riddle. But you know, if she can manage her recovery just fine, I'm all for her going wherever makes her happy and rich.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it could. I'm not saying it couldn't be Mickey James. I'm not saying it couldn't be Mandy Rose. If she's on a 30-day, she'd be just in time. Just
Barely in time.
would she even be? No, I don't think she would be. Because she was released on Thursday.
Tuesday.
No,
Wednesday.
No, Wednesday. She was released on Wednesday, and Wednesday would have been the.
Yeah, it's definitely 2 weeks. More than 2 weeks. Oh, it's 30 days, right?
Wednesday was the 16th, so a 30-day would put it the
Would not make
16th.
it to the 11th.
This
You're
is
right.
the 11th, so she wouldn't be able.
Yeah.
Now that being said, again, they announced this before she would have been available. And anyways, she still thought she had a job when they announced this.
She does.
Right.
I promise.
Oh,
JLB graced me with knowing that she still has a job.
Oh yeah, she definitely still has. She's still making money. Reportedly, she was making 6 figures a month off of that beforehand. So she's doing fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that it stayed so under the radar was impressive, to say the least. Usually we hear about those.
Oh, I'd heard about it.
that's it.
I just didn't think it was as graphic as the pictures.
As
in
it
the
turned
movie.
out to be.
I figured it was like
Well-
all of the other wrestling OnlyFans sites where it's modeling photos
lingerie, yep.
and but it was more than that.
Well, that's it, and it's not like someone went. They probably thought the same thing, or when they did look into it, because they had mentioned to her, hey, like maybe you should kind of slow down on those other things, and so on and so forth. But then the photos got leaked, like what was it, about a month ago, and all that, and then they kind of also saw too, like, oh shit, like
Here's the
these
deal,
photos
what-
are kind of raunchy.
What I'm hearing
They
is the
weren't
photos
raunchy
that got
by any
leaked.
means.
Not raunchy. I mean, they would say it's raunchy. I think they're beautiful and she looks lovely in them. But raunchy for
She's heavily exposed
WWE's.
there, that's for sure.
From what I'm
Heavily-
hearing, the
heavily
leaks
exposed.
from a month ago were less graphic than the leaks that were recent, and that was the thing. That the more recent leaks were the more graphic ones. But that in the end, here's the
Well,
deal,
crap.
right?
Now you got to go find those, JLB.
Yeah. Well, but
I'll keep
here's
you
what.
posted.
Well, I think that's the ones that he ended up finding. But it doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
that's possible.
It doesn't matter one way or another. Here's what it's going to come down to, right? JLB, I'm going to give you a contract right now, and it's going to pay you, let's just say, $200,000 a year, right? And then you are going to also have a contract that you make half of that per month, right?
Half of that a month. Okay.
Half of that a month, right? So you make $100,000
Take
every
photos
month.
of yourself.
Right.
Taking photos of yourself. And I'm going to come to you halfway through the year when I've only paid you half of the $200,000. And I'm going to say, hey, you need to stop doing that other job that you're
You're
doing.
making every month.
Which side are
Yeah.
you going to take on this?
Well, obviously,
Also,
I'd be like, well, hey,
You don't have to
you're gonna
work
fire
nearly
me
as
then.
hard and put your body
Yeah.
through damage for this.
That's
second
it.
job.
Exactly.
Now, I said
That's
a long
it.
time ago, when WWE first was saying, hey, we're gonna start cracking down on OnlyFans and Twitch streams and all of this stuff. And then some of the people were like, oh, I don't want to give up my Twitch stream. Paige didn't want to give up her Twitch stream. Who else was it that had a Twitch stream at the time? There were some big ones who are now no longer employed. Anyways, a bunch of WWEers who didn't want to give up their Twitch stream. And eventually WWE laid off and backed off of the Twitch thing. But I said, here's the deal. This is your easy way out, right? If you're unhappy in WWE and you have a successful Twitch stream or OnlyFans or whatever, fucking go all in on that. And let them fire you for it. You know? If that's your passion and that's what you want to do, and they say don't do it, you now have a choice. You can keep doing it and they can fire you for it, or you can stop doing it and then stop doing the thing that you love because some boss told you that they'd fire you. Now, here's the deal, right? There's a difference between that and something else. If my boss came to me today and said, hey, I need you to stop doing your stupid little podcast thing, I'd probably stop doing the podcast because this makes me nothing. It costs me money.
Right.
And I need a job, right? But if
Absolutely.
this podcast was making me as
Well,
much,
saying your paycheck a month?
as much as I'm making at my current job, or twice as much per month as I'm making, then I'd tell them where they can stick it. You know what I mean? But I'd let them fire me. Let them fire you.
It's less expensive.
Well, it's less expensive and it protects you in the long run. Here's the deal. What people don't know is I work in unemployment in my real job, right? And I'm telling you now, my advice to you, let them fire you. Right? It's the thing I hear so often. You can't fire me, I quit. Right? Well, guess what? You just gave up all your rights to unemployment. In almost every state.
Exactly.
Right?
Side note, you paid for unemployment.
Yeah.
Not them. You did.
Yeah, it came out of your paycheck. Well,
FICA.
yep. Now they paid some too. They pay into it too.
Yeah, sure.
They do matching, right? It's a matching thing. But it's in there. This is what it's for. So let them fire you because that protects your rights to file unemployment.
In particular for Mandy Rose, I don't think she's not gonna get unemployment because
She's not. No.
she's
I'm talking more to
contractor.
normal people.
But in particular for her, if that's not against your contract, if there's not any clause in your contract explicitly stating any individual item is off limits, you have that right. So long as it's not. But moonlighting is a thing that is actually typically protected for the business, but anything else is absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Now, if she moonlights with another organization for professional wrestling, the business has a right.
Well, but at the same point, considering she's labeled as an independent contractor,
That's true.
she could, this is something we've talked about before. WWE relies on the fact that no one has the financial ability and desire to fight them on this, right? If you get fired by WWE and you're under a 90-day no-compete, and you had the money to fight and took them to court, there's a good chance that you'd get that 90-day revoked, and you'd be able to go elsewhere. The problem is it might take more than 90 days for the legal system to go through, so it's just not worth it, right? But that's the deal. This whole holds up because no one ever fights it. But they're classified as independent contractors, and just like if I hire a person to put a new roof on my house, they're my independent contractor. I cannot dictate to them that they can't put a roof on my neighbor's house as well. They just cannot do it while they're charging me, right? So when they're on the clock they work on my house, and when they're on the clock with the other person, they work on their house, and never the twain shall meet, right? And so the thing is, no one ever fights WWE on the independent contractor part, and that they get away with it. So, But this is their way out. I'm telling you right now, if you are a professional wrestler and you are looking for a way out of your contract in WWE,
PP pics.
yep, start posting them explicit photos. You're guaranteed out now, and then after your no compete, you can work whatever you want or continue to just post PP pics. That's fine.
PP pics.
Anyways,
I won't be going to check this out.
then we had, this is the match that everyone wanted to talk about on Dynamite. Chris Jericho versus Action Andretti. This was so well set up. Now, apparently, this was back in October. Chris Jericho saw Action Andretti, I won't say his name right, on an episode of Dark. Like, he was commentating on Dark, and he saw him, and he said, this guy's going to be a star someday. And he decided he wanted to be part of the star-making process. So he came up with this concept of doing this match. It was so well set up. And there's parts of it that I wanted to talk about, because I, at the time, thought it was a mistake, but now I'm pretty convinced it was purposeful.
I mean, the kid is a younger, equally as vibrant, shows more emotion version of Dante Martin.
A little bit. Not quite as high-flying, but still pretty good.
No,
But
yeah.
Here's the thing with it. So this is the part that I said I thought it was originally an accident, but I think it was purposeful. So Action Andretti got the jobber entrance, meaning he was already in the ring. And then Chris Jericho's music hit, and he came and did his whole thing. Earlier in the night, Chris Jericho even referred to him as a jobber. Said, "I've got a match later with this jobber." Right? All the setup.
Right.
Action Andretti's already in the ring. Chris Jericho comes to the ring. Then you hear the announcer saying, "And already in the ring, his competition, Action Andretti." And the lower thirds, the Chiron came up, and it was Chris Jericho's Chiron. It did not say Action Andretti. And it was on for like half a second or two, right? And then it disappeared suddenly, like, oh crap, we have the wrong thing up. I think that was on purpose. I think that was just to
Why?
set up even more this concept of this guy is just a jobber. This guy doesn't matter. We don't even have the right lower thirds up for him, right?
Yeah, I don't think that's a thing.
Oh, this is exactly the sort of thing Chris Jericho would think up. I mean, remember, they've played with the lower thirds for the entire history of AEW. It was the running gag that they did lower thirds for Hangman Page that said things like "anxious millennial cowboy," things like that. The lower thirds have always been thought of, and there's almost nothing that goes on air on a show like this that isn't thought of, unless it's a 100% fuck up. And that's why I thought maybe this is just a fuck up. But in hindsight, after watching the way the match went, including Chris Jericho losing to Action Andretti, with not even a surprise roll up, but the running shooting star press pin, right? I think this was all set up to psychologically say this guy doesn't matter, this guy doesn't matter, and then holy shit, he won, to make his win seem even bigger. Because this is his first time wrestling on Dynamite. He's a jobber. Chris Jericho specifically called him a jobber in an earlier promo. And then they don't even have the lower thirds for him. They accidentally show the wrong lower thirds for him. Accidentally. These are all things that I can see from a psychological standpoint to make you feel like this is a bigger deal than it was. I'm not saying it wasn't a big deal. It was a huge deal. I think these were all planned.
Huge.
Huge. It's huge.
You do a really good voice for that. Huge.
It's huge.
Huge.
It was really big. It's a huge
Side
announcement.
Note, not a trading card we'll be going through anytime soon. Holy fuck, you fucking retard.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Fucking retard who got $4.5 million out of it.
That's crazy. That much?
Hey, speaking of trading cards, here we go.
Hey, there you go.
Miz and John Morrison attack the Usos to end the New Day. Not Mellow is money, but Mella is money.
Bam. Which, where the hell is she? She's injured or something?
I don't know. Got nothing for her. Money in the Bank ladder match qualifier. Apollo!
Apollo!
Drew McIntyre,
He's apparently going back to the main roster. Y'all hear that rumor?
Maybe. Drew McIntyre dropped MVP in the VIP lounge. Mr. Drip Drip. Randy Orton explains his attack on Edge.
I did it for The Rock.
And current AEW star, former WWE star, Keith Lee. Beautiful.
And now that's a
cards.
limitless card right there. Yeah.
I'm gonna my grill had run out of pellets, so I'm gonna run up and check it real quick, see if it reignited. I will be right back. You guys can keep talking.
Jeez.
Hey man,
Cheese.
cheese.
No, you do you,
Anywhoos.
boo boo.
I can just have frozen cheese if you want. No, I can't. I'm gonna go check my cheese.
Also
Go
pointing
check your
out,
cheese.
Action Andretti kicked out of the code breaker. And then Jericho threw a temper tantrum backstage afterwards.
Right, which was awesome. Awesomely well done by Jericho.
In fact, all told, it wasn't actually a good night for Jericho Appreciation Society members because Tay Mello lost to Ruby Soho as well.
Yep.
Which is fine.
Ruby finally got her revenge, but then
Yeah.
what's her face came in and helped out Tay Mello, Anna Jay. So I'm guessing that she's going to continue that on with Anna Jay now. I guess perhaps.
Possibly it's just not over. There's going to be another match. They're going to lead up. We've got 2 full months, more than that, 2.5 right as of right now, before the next pay-per-view. Because I think there's March 4th. They just announced Revolution.
Oh snap! On my birthday. Yay!
March 5th. It's a Sunday.
Okay.
Doing it on the
A
Sunday.
Sunday. Look at them go. Okay. Nice.
Great.
Sunday, March 5th. So yeah, we've got 2.5 months before the next pay-per-view. So they've got to build for a while. But I would imagine we're going to have some back and forth and then build some sort of big match between Ruby Soho and maybe even make it some sort of a 2-on-2 match, get a partner for Ruby Soho and have it be a 2-on-2 cage match. I don't know. Could be fun.
Nope, that's fair.
And then in what was your main event was the AEW World Championship and Dynamite Diamond Ring match, Ricky Starks versus MJF. And this might be contender for most predictable of the night because, let's be honest, did any of us think, as soon as they announced that it was a winner-takes-all match, did any of us think that Ricky Starks was going to win?
Well, I mean, I thought it was going to be a DQ thing where he at least would get the ring, but not the championship. Because I thought at least give him the ring or something. But no, definitely not win the title.
Well, that's the deal. As soon as they said winner takes all, I was like, nah, it's not going to happen. They're not, AEW doesn't like to do DQ, so I don't think they were going to do it that way one way or another. But B, they weren't going to have MJF lose the title a month after winning it,
Right.
So,
Anybody want a chocolate salty ball?
hey, everybody, have you
Look
seen
at
my
my-
balls? They're big and salty and brown. If you ever need a big pick-me-up, just stick my balls in your mouth.
In your mouth.
Suck on my chocolate salty balls. Stick them in your mouth and suck
Put 'em
'em.
in your mouth and suck 'em. They're fat, full of goodness, and they're good for you. So suck 'em my balls. Yep.
So proud of you both right now.
Yep, you're awesome.
So that was Dynamite. And then Rampage, of course, was pre-taped because they pre-taped Rampage. I think I'm going to go out on a limb and say that I think their low ratings for Rampage can be directly tied to the fact that they pre-tape it. The fact that it's not
Yep.
live because,
And then people just look at the spoilers.
yeah, people get the spoilers
like,
and then
"Oh,
why
okay."
bother tuning in, right? And no matter what
Well-
matches they put together for Rampage, as long as it's pre-taped, they're always going to have lower results than.
Well, I mean, kudos to Renee for the promotion, for talking about her husband's ear almost
Yeah, you
coming
wanna see my
off.
Husband almost
So-
get his ear ripped off. Yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I do. Let's watch some Rampage. And, yeah.
So
it was
starting
pretty
off the
crazy.
show, we had that match: Sammy Guevara versus John Moxley. And yeah, the whole thing was.
I think viewership was up though still because of that match.
Yeah, but it was the kickoff match, so it'll be interesting to see the quarter hours if they just break down after that. People tuned in for that match and then dropped off.
That's true.
But to have John Moxley win in the end, I'm a little confused. Like, I know why you have John Moxley win, but you had Sammy Guevara lose by going out to the Bulldog choke, which is typically a face move. Like, that's the babyface thing to do, is to not tap out but drop out. Thing.
That's a tough guy thing to do.
Yeah. But then afterwards, of course, Sammy Guevara was able to get back up and attack, and then rip out the. Anyways. Britt Baker versus Sky Blue and Wardlow versus Exodus Prime followed up. Exodus Prime was a local talent that I did not even know about, and he just got squashed by Wardlow. Sky Blue versus Britt Baker was fine. Nothing super special, but fine. And then the main event was a 4-on-4 best friends with Rhodes, Dustin Rhodes, versus the Butcher, the Blade, Kip Sabian, and Trent Seven. In his second AEW appearance, second AEW match, third appearance, because he did just appear in the ring. Technically, that was Ring of Honor, so yeah, I'm still right. Anyways,
How Canadian of you. I'm sorry.
I get by on technicalities. That's my thing. I mean, it was a fine match. I just I didn't see the build to this, and inserting Dustin Rhodes into it made very little sense, and I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, it was an entertaining match. I mean, I guess it was a good match to end Rampage. Trent Seven's always great. Best friends are great. Dustin Rose, whatever. I guess he's in the back. Let's put him in. But yeah, there wasn't really any crazy build per se.
Yeah,
Especially with Orange Cassidy always just agreeing. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay,
Yeah, whatever.
sure.
I think
Rampage, you got it.
the hindsight is always 20/20. I almost said hindsight is 50/50 because my brain doesn't work good sometimes. If I were putting together this show, I would have put Sammy Guevara versus John Moxley on last, and this match on first.
Yeah.
I think if this match kicked off the show, everything would have been fine. And then having John Moxley versus Sammy Guevara in the main event, a big fire match to end the show, I think that would have been better. Just flop those and everything's way better. But Trent Seven is good. I'm happy to see him getting work in AEW and everything. But I don't know. I'm kind of glad he's just on a per appearance deal right now because I don't think he brings a lot full time to the roster. You know what I mean? Maybe
No,
put
that's
him
it.
over
He's
in
a
Ring of
great
Honor.
wrestler. That's it. He seems more like an ROH guy. He's a great wrestler. I don't know if he has. We haven't really seen him do really much promo work, I guess. But just doesn't seem like. He seems very generic on the mic. In the ring, I guess, too, a little bit generic, but he's a decent wrestler, too, at the same time. So, ROH, I think, is a good fit.
Well, if you go back and you watch his run with Tyler Bate as Mustache Mountain on NXT UK, his character works just fine there. I just think without that whole gimmick, it's just kind of like meh. But, anywho's.
What was his name? Mustache Mountain?
Mustache Mountain was their tag team name, and they had a long run as
On NXT UK. Okay.
NXT tag champions. Let me see if they...
This might be my favorite Christmas treat that people make that's generic and tasty.
Mustache Mountain was a professional wrestling tag team consisting of Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. Apparently, they debuted it in Chikara.
Oh, snap.
And then in 2017, they debuted at the UK WWE NXT Tag Tournament. That also had the debut of Pete Dunne in NXT UK, the Bruiserweight.
Nice.
Let's see, they were NXT Tag Champions, NXT UK Tag Champions, NXT Tag Championship Invitational, NXT Year End Award Match of the Year, Bate versus Pete Dunne. So it wasn't both of them. Anyways, it was always kind of set up like a mentor-mentee sort of a thing where Tyler Bate was the old grizzled guy who... not Tyler Bate. Trent Seven was the old grizzled guy who mentored. That's the way it goes. Tyler Bate. Anyway, they were really good at the time. But I just don't know how well they fit into AEW without that.
Tyler Bates still with WWE,
Yeah.
right?
Tyler Bate is still with WWE. NXT specifically.
Yep, he recently had a title shot.
But that was what happened in the world of main roster. I mean, I guess I did not talk about NXT's events, but that is something we kind of alluded to. We don't normally talk a ton about NXT because it's the one that we have a hard time watching regularly because they moved it and yada, yada, yada. And it was not good for a while.
Yeah.
But that was the big... So we'll cut to the chase on the biggest thing here because we already talked about it a bit. Mandy Rose dropped the NXT women's title to Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne Perez. Yep.
The former Roxy, who just won the number one contenders match a week ago. And their whole thing was like, originally we thought it was going to promoting towards New Year's Evil. That's when the match was going to happen in a few weeks. And then all of a sudden they're like, nope. You have a
Likely a Mandy win at New Year's Evil.
Mm-hmm. Quite possibly.
And then there were nipples.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nipples happen.
And it reportedly was decided 15 minutes before NXT had started. That whole change-up was done 15 minutes before NXT started, and they told her that she was gone. And she seemed to be, like, okay with it, obviously. I guess she kind of figured, eventually this is going to catch up to me. And they're going to be pissed about it and let me go.
No, she didn't know she was fired until the next day. She knew she was dropping the belt. And I think she knew she was going to be dropping the belt to Roxanne Perez at some point.
You think it was going to be Roxanne Perez?
I think it was going to be Roxanne Perez. And so she thought they just decided to move up the date of it for whatever reason. And because she's gone on record saying that the getting let go caught her off guard. She did not think it was going to happen.
I mean, she had earlier in the month said, I think I might be getting fired. After she posted some of the more racy pics recently. But as we talked privately amongst ourselves, I thought there'd be a warning.
I did too.
Yeah.
That's the part that, and whether or not you said, hey, we want you to cancel, I thought a more extensive involved warning would have been advised, I guess.
Yeah, that's the deal. I thought a warning. Take the belt off her, put her in purgatory for a while. Say, think about what you've done. And they said, nah.
Nope, you're fired. Yep. Which, I mean, made her money. Somewhere she's going to still make money in wrestling if she's developed the passion that her character obviously seems to have for that. She may end up making more money off of this because now she's shown some acting chops. I would not be surprised to see her landing very nicely on her feet.
Yeah, she'll be fine, She's decent enough in the ring. She's a big enough draw. She came down to NXT as kind of, at that point, considered not a draw.
Correct.
And she turned into a big draw for NXT. What was it, 430-day reign?
Yeah, second only to Asuka.
I want to make sure I have the right number of days for it, the reign.
So what are they doing about Gigi and...
413 days. It also is the second longest single continuous reign, but it is the third in terms of combined days. Shayna Baszler has the longest combined reigns. 549 days. But that was two. Ooh, actually, it is third in terms of single reigns, too.
Really?
Shayna Baszler's second reign was 416 days long.
Then
Oh, damn.
my information I received is incorrect.
I thought it was correct, too, so... Asuka is still number one by a long shot, 510 days.
Damn.
And then...
Never having lost the title.
Yeah.
No.
And
exactly.
then we fucked her at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and then looks like Io Shirai is next at 304 days. It's a big drop from 413 days to 304. And then it drops to 223.
There's a lot of speculation until they told us that it was Xia Li, that Mandy Rose was
Yeah, that was
the
all...
person in the hood. I was like, no.
the It's a Work crowd will speak really loudly all the time.
Oh, it's not on screen. Okay.
It's also not speaking loudly. Are you still there?
I'm here.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The It's a Work crowd. That's you.
It's a work.
It's a work.
I guess technically Paige is at
always a work.
308, but they only recognize 273 of those days because,
She was the first NXT, and it would have been FCW.
well, and it aired on tape delay by almost a month.
Wow.
because it was an 8-woman single elimination tournament, and they filmed the whole tournament at one point and then aired each match of it as they went. So she gets edged out of almost a month of officially recognized reign because of that. Inversely, Asuka actually gets an extra 12 days because her resigning, vacating the title, was also on tape delay. So she also got 12 extra days out of that.
So Paige gets screwed, and Asuka gets the benefit from it.
Yeah, and then Asuka goes to the main roster and gets screwed.
Yep.
Paige
Moral of the
was
story
also
is
screwed
WWE
off
just-
on the main roster. I saw one.
Oh,
of the
Jesus
Paige Woods
Christ.
and
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
that was Paige.
That was Paige.
often.
I mean,
screwed on the main roster.
allegedly, I haven't watched it.
It's not allegedly. It happened.
Listen, I can't confirm it, and if I haven't seen it myself, which I haven't, by
Well,
the way. I
How about
haven't at all.
believing us, asshole?
I'm just trying to say that I have not seen it.
Clarifying to anybody who may listen
Anybody
later,
who maybe
or-
listens to this, that I have not seen that, or the Mandy Rose pictures at all.
Yes.
I have not.
Yep.
I have not seen any of them.
Nope.
No, well, we're gonna come. In all honesty, I had to explain to my wife, the Paige situation at one point.
And you showed her the videos, didn't you?
I didn't show her the videos, but she's like, but how do we know it was her? And I go, well, we know it was her, but here's the bigger thing. There were other people involved that we know who didn't get any sort of repercussions to it either. She's like, what do you mean? I said, we see Xavier Woods on it.
and Alberto.
Yeah, and Alberto. I mean, Alberto
Life is his repercussion.
yeah. Alberto was her boyfriend at the time, so it wasn't surprising to see him on this.
Good job to Xavier Woods
Oh.
to convince him to, let him.
Well, no, but it was Maddox was the one with Xavier. No, it wasn't Alberto.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
It
I'm
was
just saying,
Maddox.
there were a lot of videos. I'm just saying Xavier Woods did not have any repercussions from being a part of this.
If anything, that is where he came up with his show, Up, Up, Down, Down. He's just instantly thought it at that
But
moment.
Ching.
Oh,
Up, down, down, up.
Listen, if you're doing it up, up, and down, down, your rhythm's a little off.
yeah, absolutely.
Did you see that thing? He could be a little bit off on rhythm and still.
I want to reiterate that I did not see that.
watch the
Not
video.
see that.
I absolutely did not. That's where I point out again.
Jeez.
I did not see it, and I do not feel inadequate in any way.
I mean, I'm just going to say good for Xavier Woods.
Yeah, no, but I mean, it's just kind of bitchy that one gets all the shit from it while the other people in it didn't. Well, I think Maddox got fired due to the scenario.
Not for that scenario.
And
Nope.
not for that scenario, right?
There's other
Okay.
stuff for Maddox.
Okay. Was that the whole abusing scenario?
I'm sorry.
Did he wasn't it like sexual allegations or something, or there was he was abusing people,
No, Maddox.
or he just got fired from the releases?
Maddox didn't play nice with others.
Ah. Well, in the video, he certainly wasn't playing nice with Paige. She didn't seem to like it though.
Yeah, she's
Carrying on.
curious about it. Moving forward.
Well, afterwards. I mean, who releases private videos? Shame on Maddox for doing that. But,
I mean, I appreciate it, but Smarks does it because he hasn't seen it.
I haven't seen it at all. Nope, not at all.
no.
Not at
I
all.
wouldn't even know where to find it. Like, I don't even know what you would Google for it.
He can't even spell Paige anymore. He just automatically knows her as Soraya now, so he probably no, you could probably still find it if you put like Soraya sex tape or something. But don't look for it. Poor
Yeah, but,
girl.
I mean, it's not even worth looking for because it's not going to come up, and you just can't. It's impossible to find these.
Yeah.
It's just impossible. They're not out there at all.
And it's not worth it. If you support Paige, you don't go try to find these videos. You just support Paige.
I think she still
Or
gets
Soraya.
paid off of them.
I don't think she does. This is not a Ray J and a Paris Hilton and am I mixing my people up?
And Ray
Is
J.
it-
Yeah.
It's Paris Hilton and Ray J?
Yeah.
Well, the
Was it?
league
Okay,
was
yeah.
not Ray J.
No, Ray J was Kim
The league was
Kardashian.
not-
Paris Hilton was some other
Exactly.
dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
Which
yes,
I also
that's
have not seen. Get out ahead of things. I have not seen those at all. I only know about those from
Just
pop
heard.
culture references.
Oh, that's fair. Fair point. Gotta love those pop culture references. Bam. And and then along with that, there's just rumors of maybe Vince potentially wanting to come back. Said he got horrible advice from people close to him. But looks like a lot of people with inside the company definitely don't want him back and are happier with him gone, which I completely understand.
Said it would have just blown over if I had just, stayed there. It would be gone by now.
I think you'd be interested to see how quickly it would rear its ugly head if he came back.
I suspect a lot of the reason it blew over in your minds was because you weren't there every week on TV reminding us of it.
Yeah, I think if he'd gone back to an off-screen and stayed with an off-screen role, then it could have maybe blown over. But he actually put himself on screen.
Yeah.
Twice that week when it came out.
And he was
On
there
Raw
in
and
Lincoln when we
SmackDown.
went.
Just to be a shit disturber. Yeah, I mean, if he does decide to come back, I hope it's after Elimination Chamber or the SmackDown before, because I don't want my SmackDown or Elimination Chamber to suck. Thank you very much.
He was in Lincoln. What he did was came out and said, "We're all a family here," which means you're fucking your sister, huh, bud?
Oh, Jesus.
And then firing her.
And firing her.
Oh, hey, guess what here? Do.
Thank you for the promotional offer. We appreciate it so much that we're gonna block you.
Yep. Blocked. It did say, hey, suspicious, this is a potential ban evader. Ban evader. We did get 3 new followers. So thank you to Insane Cookie Lou. Or maybe it's Insane Cookie Low Zero. I don't know. Also thank you to Blood Wolf Enholsk. Blood Wolfen LHC. I don't know. And then that person who followed and then just tried to scam us. Price is lower than any competitors. Listen,
I mean, it may not have been scam. It could have just been spam. But
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a scam. They promise that you'll get a bunch of followers and then you pay them money and you don't get real followers, you just get bots. That's still a scam.
bots equal pay.
No, they actually don't. You only get paid for people who subscribe to your channel or watch your ads, and bots do not count as ad watches. So,
So don't magically
Yeah, you just get, if anything, if anyone does cross your channel, they see you have a lot of followers.
yeah.
But at the same time, if you go and check,
and you have 20K followers, but like 15K or 19K of them are bots, kind of a pointless channel.
Ed Zachary.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's it. Ed Zachary. Don't know where that's from, but it was funny.
It's an old joke from when I was younger. When I was younger. Jeez. I think it's almost time to be done, I'm thinking. When I was younger, it was an old joke about a person who had Ed Zachary's disease. What's Ed Zachary's disease? Well, it's when their face looks Ed Zachary like their ass.
When I was a young warthog. When I was a young warthog.
Boomba, not in front of the kids.
Let's see.
Clear the Savannah.
Insane cookie low. Ooh. It must be just a lurker. Never made a video. So you're not making
So I guess we could close the books on the fantasy, not the fantasy booking unit, but on the wrestling one, because there really wasn't a lot of news aside from the Mandy scenario, and Vince potentially wanting to come back.
And John Cena having his first match in a year and a half.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, well, not having his first match, announced his first match on the December
Yeah.
for December 30th.
We'll see if he still has his first match.
Yeah.
But yeah, on that note, it's been a good 2 hours talking, and
That's what I was thinking too. Yeah.
and
Uh,
good hour and a half, and then a half hour of okay in there. I don't know, but it's been a mediocre 2 hours with sprinklings of good. Is that better?
Yeah.
Is that more fair?
very mid, as MJF would say. Mid.
Well, I mean, I live in the Midwest, so that's not an insult here.
No, that's fair. That's a fair point.
But on that note, we're going to go ahead and wrap things up here. Get an early night. We'll be back in a couple days for the Fantasy Booking Institute, where we will have fun playing games and booking some fantasies. Maybe end the year with a bang. I mean, it's not the last one of the year, but it's close enough.
It's likely to be.
Yeah, it might be, because
Next week is Christmas.
next week, yeah, Christmas is... I don't know.
And I mean, last Christmas I gave you my heart, and the very next day, you gave it away.
Last Christmas,
why?
I gave you my heart.
It's like a bottom 15.
You fucked my best
Gave
friend.
it away. It is not. That's like at least.
It's one of my
Top
favorite
10.
Christmas songs.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites.
Well,
It's definitely my
man.
top 10.
The video for it is epic.
I've never seen the video for it.
Look,
actually.
watch the video. It's so great. I don't know. I gotta be honest. I don't know how it became such a big Christmas song, because the video makes it very clear that every year he goes on a trip, and the previous year he took his girlfriend, and then the next year he goes on the trip, and his girlfriend is no longer his girlfriend. She's there with someone else. And he spends the entire time on this trip at a ski lodge with his friends, and she's obviously fucking one of his friends. She's obviously with one of his friends, and it's so epically 80s, feathered hair and everything, frosted, Vaseline smeared lens, so everything's got a kind of a glow and a little bit of a fuzz to it. It's so well done. They did a 4K remaster of it a couple years ago.
That's the one I'm looking at.
It's epic. Anyways, but yeah, if you like us, you want to support us, make sure to give us a follow. Twitch.tv/RawandOrderWBU is the best way to follow us. You can also follow us on the YouTubes. You can follow me on the Twitter and the TikTok and the YouTubes and the Instagrams at RawandOrderWBU, just like it says right down there. If you go on Facebook, it's at Pissant Podcast, because Facebook is weird. I've been having fun on TikTok today with the AI manga filter that's been going around on TikTok. Everyone's been doing it. But I finally got access to it. It does not know what to do with my beard. Does not know at all. It comes up with all sorts of weird things with it. It makes it like I've got a furry collar on my shirt, or sometimes I got just a really small face, and like this becomes my neck. It's weird stuff. It's fun. But anyways, you can follow DA Fabe at
DA Vincent K. Fabe. It's in the bottom left corner of my screen there.
There it is down there. You don't need to point to it. We can read it. And you can follow JLB at
Twitch.tv/JLBTLC25. Haven't streamed in a bit, but hopefully I will soon.
I streamed Skyrim this afternoon, and it was fun. I went to a part of the map that I've never been to, despite hundreds of hours playing Skyrim. Just never made it up to there for whatever reason. Got absolutely murked by what was it that murked me? It wasn't Dryad. It wasn't Flame Metrodon. Can't remember what it was.
Damn it.
But anyways, got
I'm
murked.
looking at the Twitch and there's a delay.
I got murked. Anyways, it was still fun.
We all get a little
join me.
murk sometimes.
I try to do the Sunday Skyrim. Probably won't this week because holidays and
Christmas
stuff.
stings.
Who knows? Maybe I will. Maybe I'll just stream all weekend long. I'm not doing things with family, so who knows? 24-hour
I thought
Skyrim.
you were going to Alma or something of that sort.
No, I did that for Thanksgiving,
Oh,
and it was McCook,
McCook.
tiny ass McCook.
There's like 10,000 people in McCook, dude.
Yeah, tiny ass McCook.
Double the size of my town.
Yeah, well, your town is tiny ass.
I guess I don't have a
Tiny
town.
SS.
I live in the middle of nowhere.
But
There's a Walmart in McCook.
and that's about it.
Bitch.
That's about it. Anyways, but long story short, I may do some streaming. I don't know on Skyrim. I've been thinking about going and buying the Game of the Year edition of Oblivion because no one streams Oblivion, and that gives me a uniqueness. Cause I actually liked Oblivion.
Karrion Cross would like somebody to remake SmackDown's the one with Brock on the cover.
Shut your mouth.
I don't think it's Shut Your Mouth.
Yeah, that's the Here Comes the Pain or Shut Your Mouth. It's Here Comes the Pain.
That's what it is.
Right. Yeah.
He says that's the greatest game. Do you like money? You should remake this game.
Yeah. I mean,
It's not that game. That's not the greatest wrestling game of all.
I'm telling you what Karrion Cross.
I know, and I understand. I'm just saying I disagree with him because, you can say it's the NWO versus WCW World Tour or Revenge. You can say those. You could go to the WWE side, but still do the THQ games from that era. Those are the greatest wrestling games of all time, and I will fight anyone on that.
yep. Even Karrion Cross.
You'll physically fight Karrion Cross.
I'll do it.
If he wants,
While
if he
holding
wants
my
to throw
WWF
down
No
about
Mercy.
this, if he wants to throw down, if he wants
do
that
it.
to be the hill he dies on, by going to jail for assaulting a fat Midwestern guy.
I mean, on the bright side, Scarlett would be alone then.
She still won't go to your house, Fabe.
None of them.
She won't do it.
Ooh, really quickly here. According to Cage Match ratings, we'll just go through this real quick because it's fun. The top 10. Excuse me. I almost dropped my phone as I'm doing that. The top 10 matches of 2022 according to Cage Match ratings. Number 10, Claudio Castagnoli versus Konosuke Takeshita, which got 4 3/4 stars by Wrestling Observer. Number 9, Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood versus Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson, which also got 4 3/4. Number 8, Jericho Appreciation Society versus Bryan Danielson, Eddie Kingston, John Moxley, Ortiz, and Santana.
Blood and guts.
Okay, that was the arena fight, I guess.
Yeah. This must be AEW matches. I do want to say that because these are all AEW matches. So I'm sure this isn't. Anyways. Number 7, Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson versus Pac, Penta Zero, and Ray Phoenix from the November 19th episode. Number 6, Orange Cassidy versus Will Ospreay.
That would be their first.
That was the first
Their
trio
second
match,
in their
or second.
seven.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
The
was the
first
second
was
set.
technically the pay-per-view.
Yep. Number 5, Bryan Danielson versus Daniel Garcia. Number
Yeah,
4,
that's fair.
Adam Page, Alex Reynolds, and John Silver versus Kenny Omega, Matt Jackson, and Nick Jackson. This would have been the trio's final at what was that one? Full Gear? No, not Full Gear. All Out.
Yeah, the media scrum situation.
Yes. Number 3, John Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta. Number 2, Anthony Bowens and Max Caster versus Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland from September 4th. And the number 1 rated match for AEW of the year, Adam Page versus Bryan Danielson from January 5th.
That was a fantastic match. That I would definitely agree. Should be on anyone's top 10 AEW.
Anyways, I just saw that come
Mr.
across my
Bebe
feed. And I
versus
was like,
Hangman. I think it's the thing the world is waiting for. Quick
Yeah,
health
hopefully,
to Mr. Bebe. We need you.
For sure. Yeah.
here's hoping. Knocking on whatever I can to give luck to him. But on that note, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Make sure if you want to support us, you can hit up our merch link. It is in the bio. There's actually 2 of them with slightly different merch at each one. So hit up those and support us that way. Or you can support us with the free Amazon Prime subscription. That helps us out a ton and doesn't cost you anything. If you want to pay for a
Doesn't cost you a
subscription,
dime.
you can do that as well. I'm not saying you can't, but that Amazon Prime free subscription per month doesn't cost you anything. It's a super great way to help us out. But on that note, we are going to close the book on the Wrestling Booking Unit. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you soon.
On Tuesday.